All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today for a reintroduction to the Palace project and the Palace app. My name is Tara Carpenter, and I'm the implementation manager for Palace. I'm joined today by my colleague, Jill Scarson, and Jill is our partner success manager. So you may have spoken with myself or Jill or both of us in the process of being configured in Palace or launching, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So we're here today to kind of reacquaint ourselves with you, to tell you about what's new in Palace and hopefully answer any questions that you might have. We also have Josh Muse and Lauren Kelly here from Vermont Department of Libraries. So just a quick shout out to them. They're wonderful partners with us in this project. So they're also here on deck if you have questions for them on how they're involved in the project or anything else like that. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, Lauren. Excellent. Okay, so our plan here today, I'm going to run through some slides. I'm also going to kind of pause for questions. Jill will monitor the chat for questions, and then we have time to kind of dig in deeper to anything you want to talk about. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Oops, what am I doing? Slideshow. Of course, here we go. So, a reintroduction to Palace. So what we'll talk about here today is a Palace introduction and overview. We'll talk about the Book Vermont virtual library, your shared collection, curated lists and lanes, new features and updates. We'll talk a little bit about promoting Palace and then some library resources we have available for you, and then of course Q&A. All right, so first, all Vermont libraries are eligible to participate in this Palace project. So you may already have Palace at your library, you may not, or you may not even know. So you can check in with us. But I first want to tell you everyone's eligible to participate. It's been paid for by Vermont Department of Libraries. We can configure your library, whether you have a typical ILS or even if you don't have a standard ILS or you're not automated, we can still configure you with a virtual library card instance. And some libraries do have that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And there are 138 libraries live now in Vermont and Palace. So you can also contact support@thepalaceproject.org or Josh, who you saw here, to sign your library up to participate if you'd like to. And if you're interested, but you don't know if you're ready to participate, we also have the Book Vermont Library available for those that aren't ready to sign up yet. So we'll go into details about that in a minute. All right, so a little bit about our project vision. We want to build a digital future for and with libraries. We want to support libraries and their missions to maximize access to all e-content, to increase literacy, and to reduce the equity gap. And people ask us about our name, Palace, right? The name of the app comes from the quote that libraries are palaces for the people. The quote's attributed to Andrew Carnegie and popularized recently by Eric Kleinenberg in his book of the same name, Palaces for the People. And our team really also believes that libraries are a special place in the community that offer something for everyone. And the Palace app aims to be a digital library space that's easy to access and centers your library at the heart of the experience digitally. So what is it, right? So the Palace project is a suite of open source software with multiple facets. So you might be familiar with part of it, but here's what it encompasses. There's the app, which is a reading app that aggregates most of your digital content in one place. There's the Palace Collection Manager, which is the staff administrative backend portal. There's the Palace Marketplace, which is an optional nonprofit marketplace that sells ebooks and audiobooks. There's the Palace Bookshelf, which contains open content that's configured for all Palace libraries that are participating. And there's the virtual library card, which is optional. This, again, is for libraries that may not be automated with an ILS, or they have an ILS which can't be integrated with us. This is also what's being used for the Book Vermont statewide library. Okay, so Palace, we're going to talk about the app here first, and it's designed for discovery. The default settings showcases available now titles. So you can see on the picture here on the right, the sort over here at the top, where I'm wiggling my mouse, you can see it says availability, available now. That's the default how we configure it for all the libraries. So that ensures that when a patron either browses or searches, that they're going to see materials that are available to check out first. that are available now. It aims to highlight your whole collection over the holds queues and allows your library to display backlist selections alongside your more recent titles. And it automatically suggests other titles by the same author in the same series if they're available. And we can also further increase discovery by integrating novelists to provide readers with recommendations. So if you have novelists, we are able to configure that for you. All right, so the app aggregates content from major vendors. That's one of the things that makes Palace kind of special and different from other reading apps, is that we are able to take that content not only from places outside of Palace, such as like Overdrive, Baker and Taylor, Biblioteca, Cloud Library, but also supports your supplemental purchases from BiblioBoard or the Palace Marketplace or Indie Author Project. And what we're doing is aggregating all of that content together, so it's all available side by side in the app, just to providing a more rich experience with all of the content, or most of your content, in one place to make it easier for your patrons. All right, the app is also meant to be accessible. We're trying to make it as easy and as streamlined as possible for users of all ages and abilities. We're always focusing on continuing to improve the in-app experience by improving, design elements and for the overall app experience. So we're always soliciting feedback from our users, but trying to keep it simple, even as we improve. We want to make sure we're not overcomplicating things. We're not overcooking anything. So that's kind of our stated purpose here. Beyond ease of use, the app is compatible with screen reader technology, including VoiceOver on iOS and TalkBack on Android. In the app, there are some more accessibility features you can set within the reader. So if on iOS, you can see the little TT menu at the top here. I'm kind of wiggling my mouse around. On Android, it's a gear, but it brings up the same accessibility menu. And that will allow you to customize your experience to meet needs. And you can adjust your font size, screen brightness, color contrast, and font types, including Open Dyslexic, Serif, and Sans Serif. So that just makes it a little more personalized and hopefully easier to use for all people. And like I said, great for first-time app users. So next up is the collection manager. So this is the piece of software that is that back-end administrative portal for library staff. So this will integrate, like I said, with most library ILSs for patron authentication. This is where you can customize lists and lanes of curated content, and you can include content from any of the integrated vendors. You can administer your combined catalog of all content. And if you're curious, if you want more details about this, we have training videos specifically about using the collection manager, curating custom lists and lanes. But there's a lot of fun stuff you can do if you have the time and inclination to get in there and customize things. But out of the box, we already set up some cool defaults for you too, that I'm sure you've seen if you've already looked in the collection manager, but we've linked the training videos at the end for those that are curious. So besides administering your content, you can also view your usage information, including loans, holds, and title usage. Speaking of content integrations, here are some of our vendors. So Overdrive, Baker and Taylor, ProQuest, Cloud Library, Blackstone Unlimited, BiblioBoard, Unlimited Listens, and Palace Marketplace are all content vendors. And then we can also integrate your Palace content with the Aspen Discovery layer if you have that. So if you are interested, we do have a process for setting up that integration for you with Aspen. All right, next up, the book Vermont Library. So I'm not sure if everyone knows, but we want to make sure you do know this is available for free to everyone in Vermont. Basically, you just need to be physically located in the state of Vermont and have the Palace app to access this. Basically, you'll sign up in the Palace app for your free card in a few easy steps. And then you'll be able to access the shared collection materials that have been provided by the Vermont Department of Libraries. And it's perfect to test out before signing your library onto Palace. So for those that are on the fence, you can check it out this way. And also if you have patrons coming in asking about Palace, if they've heard about it somewhere, we did have an ad in Front Porch Forum. So if anyone had asked about that, you can direct them to the Book Vermont Library for free to check it out. And there's nothing you need to do on your end. So to make a card, and this goes also for any of you that have a virtual library card instance, the same process applies, but for anyone trying to help people make a card in Book Vermont, this is what they'll do. They'll go ahead and click on settings and then click Book Vermont Library to get to the account screen. And you'll go ahead and click create a card. The important piece here, allow geolocation once. So you can see this pop up here. They do need to do that just one time when they are creating the app. You can either say allow once, allow using the app, but if you say don't allow, you cannot create a card. So I recommend you say allow once, make the card, and then you can make sure that doesn't apply again. But that's totally up to you or to the user, but it is needed for that one-time thing to fill out the form. Once you submit the form, you'll go ahead and check your email. And then an email will arrive. It comes from no reply at thepalaceproject.org. So you can see here, because it's a no reply, sometimes those get diverted to spam. So if you don't see it in your inbox, it's good to check your spam box. You'll need to click on that link. You can see there's kind of like a long link here to go ahead and activate the card. Once you click the link, you'll be able to go back to the app to log in. The email will have your barcode. It's here kind of in bold. And then you'll use that as well as the password you set on that form. And then you can go from there and check out ebooks and audiobooks. So it's pretty straightforward. It's really just a matter of remembering to check your email, click the link, and then once you log in, the app will remember your barcode and PIN until you sign out. So that's up to you. If you do want to sign out, you just have to be able to, type it back in the next time. All right. So once you get into the Vermont Department of Libraries, Book Vermont Library, there's a lot of shared content, and it's not just in Book Vermont Library. This content is shared with all of your libraries. So there are a significant amount of titles there that have been purchased for you. You can see I got the number here, 28,320 items in the shared collection, which is a lot. So really kind of supplement, purchasing. So, this is just an extra 28,000 items that popped into your catalog really for your users, which is really amazing. There's a lot of cool stuff, Vermont-focused fiction and nonfiction, materials by Vermont authors, local award winners. There's also library science content, which is very cool for all our librarians here on the call for professional development purposes. There's the content from Palace Marketplace, Baker and Taylor, Biblioboard, Palace Bookshelf of open materials. There's also content besides not just in English, but in 8 other languages. And there's also 2 different formats. There's ebooks and audiobooks for your enjoyment. And we know in Vermont, audiobooks are extremely popular. The largest percentage of usage that we see in Palace in Vermont is audiobooks. So you may already be seeing that in your local libraries. I assume you are. But there are audiobooks in here for your users. So in the app, here's an example of some of the curated lanes that have been created for you by Lauren at Vermont Department of Libraries. Thank you, Lauren. She's done an excellent job here. So you can see there are some different things here. There is the Vermontiana category here, or lane at the top. And if you click into there, there's some cool sublanes that have different things that I talked about, Vermont authors, books that won the Green Mountain Book Award, the Golden Dome Book Award, the Red Clover Book Award, and there's also Vermont's 250th anniversary titles. So a lot of really cool stuff there. And beyond just these curated lanes, there's also languages. So like I mentioned, there's a bunch of content not in English, which is really great, including content in Arabic, French, Persian, Spanish, Ukrainian, Urdu, and Vietnamese. And you will find this content, it's in the catalog, but you can find it most easily with these lanes where they're organized together. If you scroll down to the bottom lane on the app on the catalog screen, click on World Languages, and then that's where you'll find them broken down by language. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's new with Palace. So many of you have been with us for a while. You've seen us grow and change. And so we've got some changes that are ongoing, really. Our development team is working all the time. We're taking your feedback and we're working to improve. So here are some things that are new right now, including push notifications. search within EPUBs on iOS and Android. We've added the audiobook duration to the book details page when available. We've changed the forward and rewind buttons from 15 to 30 seconds. That was a request from users. We have added language localization on Android phones and tablets now. And we had a huge audiobook refactoring project that happened for about 6 months earlier this year. It was just released in September on iOS and Android phones and tablets. And it really, I think, has done a lot to improve the audiobook experience when using the app. So this was really based on, a lot of work from our engineers, based again on feedback we heard from patrons and libraries about how to improve the audiobook experience in the app. So we're really happy about that one. In the collection manager, we've added an enhanced reporting data dashboard that I'll show you here in a minute. And we've also added a cool feature, which is an inventory report, which you can have emailed to you, and it will include all of the inventory and holds for Biblioboard, Palace Marketplace, and Palace Bookshelf content. So that's really nice. People have been asking for that, and now you can just self-serve, send the email anytime you'd like. And then finally, our feedback board. So like I would keep mentioning here, we're collecting your feedback and your feature requests for future development consideration. That's how we're kind of guiding, where the app is going in the future. And here it is, and I have a link too at the end. If you haven't seen this yet, it's using a software called FeedBearer. And basically you can upvote existing suggestions. So you can see over on the right here, the top suggestion, add ability to renew apps or renew items in the app. So it is being prioritized already. We voted in our last priorities meeting that this was really important. So this has been raised to the top for our software roadmap. So I have my little update here being prioritized. But for others that haven't been, upvoted enough yet, we're just waiting for them to cross a certain threshold, or if we hear, enough feedback. But you can upvote by clicking the up arrow here next to any of these you're interested in. You can also leave comments or suggestions on how to further fill out the suggestion. Or so yeah, we're looking for any ideas on the collection manager, the app, or a new software hardware integration that we don't do yet that you are interested in. It's reviewed and prioritized quarterly with our engineering team, and then I continue to add updates as we hear them. Okay, so some of the changes, the collection manager inventory report. So if you go into the collection manager, you'll be able to see this. It's on the old snapshot dashboard, and basically you'll see this right here, usage and reports, request report. You'll click this button, that will trigger the email to be sent to you. It comes in a zip file. So if you have any kind of issue with receiving attachments that are zip files, just let us know. We can put it into a Google Drive folder for you. I've heard from a few libraries that, their system blocks attachments with zip files. So just something to keep in mind if you request a report and it doesn't show up. But otherwise, yeah, you'll get the CSV in your email. It'll have the list of everything you got, including all of the content purchased by the state, and then any of your content you may have purchased from Biblioboard or the marketplace. All right, and then also here, before I move to the next slide, check out this view usage link if you haven't seen this yet. That is what you will click to go to the new data dashboard. So you may have already seen, and you probably are familiar with our dashboard, which was kind of a usage snapshot. But now we have a much greatly expanded data dashboard with a lot of stuff here. So you can see this for your library anytime. You just click that link here. Up at the top, there's this control section where you can set, your time periods for either checkouts, for patron signups, and it will give you a nice breakdown of all of that data. Not just the numbers, but kind of visualizations with all different graphs. You can see there's some other tabs up here, circulation over time, loan title use, and then the CSV is also available from this view. You'll still be able to download that usage CSV from the collection manager snapshot dashboard as well. It's just adding it in one more place for you. So if this is the only dashboard you'll use now, everything is here contained for you. All right, so next up, promoting Palace to your users. So this is something we also hear from libraries is if you have another e-reader app and everyone's kind of used to it, how do you talk about Palace? Where does it really fit in? So we try to come up with a couple of simple talking points that you or people at the desk can use to really convey what it is, what Palace is all about. It's a multiple content sources in one simple app. So access more of your library's ebooks and audiobooks in one place. So like I mentioned, all of the content from all these different vendors is being aggregated into this one app for people, hopefully making it easier to find most things in one place. We have unique content and innovative partnerships and options for community provided and library driven content. It's designed for discovery, like I mentioned, with accessibility features and prioritizes available and relevant titles to increase discovery. And then the streamlined user-centered design with focus on accessibility. We also have a library resources webpage, which is a go-to space for all kinds of cool stuff that Jill is always updating, and our Marcon team will also be helping us refresh these materials in the new year. But we've got all kinds of digital assets like for social media posting, logos, trainings. We have getting started guides for both virtual library card libraries and traditional ILS configured libraries. We also have them translated into Spanish, French, and we've got maybe 4 or 5 other languages. I can't remember off the top of my head, but on this link, I'll bring that up to show you. But there are those that basically are self-serve. You can print them out. They're the 2 half sheets on an 8.5 by 11 form. There's promotional materials, which you can download. We also have physical collateral, bookmarks, and QR code cards. So if you'd like us to send those to you to have out something physical in your library, let us know. You can email us at our support email, support@thepalaceproject.org, and we can just mail those to you directly. So that's always an option. We also have press release templates and external resource links. And more promotion outreach support. So this is kind of where Jill comes in to be your partner once the library has launched. She can she can meet with you to kind of give you a customized approach, give you more ideas, how to get creative with this if you'd like. But we have support, including that resources page I talked about, including the physical collateral. We have training videos in English and Spanish, sharing custom lists and lanes, and in is really a cool way, especially with the custom lists that Lauren made with the shared content. You can enable those for your own library too, and I'll show you how in a sec. They're already shared with all the libraries. So really all you have to do is go in and make it live, and you can order it anywhere you'd like in the catalog, but that's a nice way to highlight some lovingly curated content that's Vermont centric. And we also love your ideas. So let us know what are the best ways we can support outreach to your own community, because we don't always know. So we want to hear from everyone. And here's some of our resources, including the library resources page. Our YouTube channel is where all the videos are for training, the feedback board, and then the enhanced reporting data dashboard. I put the direct link, but you can also just link to it directly from your snapshot dashboard. And then my email, Jill's email. And I wanted to pop over here really quickly to show you. So for those lists that Lauren made of content, you can, here in the collection manager, if you come to the lanes tab and you go to show and you click all, this is going to show you all the lists that have been shared with your library. So you can see if you want to make your own, Golden Dome Book Award lane or Green Mountain Book Award lane, or all of them, award winners, or however, you just drag them over here and name it, save it, and then that will put it at the top of your library's catalog. So then it will look like the Book Vermont library, which I'm going to bring up here if I can. So it is an option for you. If you're interested, we can help you. So see, like the Vermontiana here, you could have something like that, or you can, make it your own. But that is an option for you. They're already shared. And like I said, if you need more details, we can meet with you to help you, or we can send the videos. So that's what I wanted to share about that. All right, so back to this. So are there any questions? I'm looking in the chat here.
None in the chat, but
right.
We have plenty of time for questions if anyone has them.
Yes, we covered a lot here, but hopefully everyone takes away that you probably either have Palace at your library already, or if not, you can reach out and we can start you getting configured, or you can use the Book Vermont virtual library card for your patrons, and that's already ready to go. All they need to do is make a card. But yeah, we're here for you. Jill and I, we do tech support. We also can provide outreach support or trainings for your staff. So, whatever it might be that we can do to help.
Question in the chat, Tara. It says, and Betty, this is not embarrassing. I know that you think that it might be. It says, how do I access my collection manager? I should
Yeah,
know, but I'm not sure.
that's okay. Well, that's why. So, yeah, please don't be embarrassed. That's why we wanted to do this and we called it a reintroduction because I don't want to assume everybody knows. Some libraries signed up years ago and maybe there's been staff turnover or maybe it wasn't you involved. It could be many things. So I'm going to put it in the chat here, but I'll add that to our slides too. You go there. If you have an account, you can log in. If you don't have an account, we can make you one. So I would say maybe just email us and we can get you set up if you don't know. Putting our email here, support at thepalaceproject.org. Yeah, so that goes for anyone that if you don't know your login, if you forgot, that's okay. There is a forgot your password option on the login screen, but again, if you don't have an account yet, that won't work. So we'll get you set up. Okay, so there's a note from Lauren. Okay, a note about creating lists. BT, Vermont Department of Libraries would not recommend using the automatically add new books from these collections to this list option and making lists. Which is okay. I'll show you what she's talking about if you don't know. So here on the collection manager, here's the list tab. This is where you would go to create a list, to curate that. So when you're building it, there's two ways that you can use the search to update. You can either have automatically update this list, that's kind of the default, or you can change it to manually select. The difference is if you select automatically update this list, and you say anytime something from Overdrive is added, it's going to go into this list. You'll never be able to edit that. It's always going to just pull anytime you add something from Overdrive. But if you do manually select, this really helps with your curation. If you know you're going to tend to this over and over, maybe the list is about cookbooks, right? So you add your 20 cookbooks to this list, and then every time you buy a new cookbook, you come in and manually add it to the list. So that's the difference.
Tara, there's also that little section at the top that allows them to add from the collections. And I think that might be what Lauren is referencing.
Yeah, sorry, that is more so what I was referencing.
Oh, yes.
Just wanted to say that we recommend not doing it because the content that the state purchases, covers the wide variety of things that we're looking for. And I know that we've auto-populated previous users' lists before, so I thought it was worth mentioning. Thanks.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Jill. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So it wasn't this one, it was this one. Also automatically add new books from these collections. Yeah, so usually when we do this top add from collections is when you purchase new content from a new distributor and you want everything to just funnel into a list before it's added. That's usually when you'll use that. So the best way is to use the search for titles, this whole area here, to go ahead and create those lists. Okay. For Book Vermont, is there an age limit for creating your own library card? Sorry if I missed if this was covered. So in the app, basically it is verifying that you are either a parent or 13 and over. I know that in Vermont, the age was recently reduced to 12, I believe, 12 and over to be able to sign off on yourself to use the app. So we're aware of that. Basically, the language says 13 in our privacy policy, but we were notified. So it's basically self-attesting that that's the case when you sign up. So hopefully that answered that. And Josh says you can always reach out to Lauren and I with any Palace questions. Thank you, Josh. Um, and then another question, do you work with any out of copyright titles on Palace? And do they function the same as regular in copyright items? Yeah, so we have oh, Jill, do you want to talk about this?
No, I was just going to say, we do have our Palace bookshelf, which has been automatically integrated into your collections. It also has a standalone library. That collection has, I would say, many, many thousands of titles at this point, primarily open educational resources, titles that are public domain at this point, so they're out of copyright, as well as other materials. And one thing I will say about those is that because they are out of copyright or because they are open, they are all simultaneous access for unlimited durations of time. So there's no loan duration. So if you add that title to your bookshelf in Palace or your My Book section, it will stay there for as long as you would like. Um, there are a lot of great classics in there. One of the examples that we use is if you have a local group that does like a classics book club and they would like to use Palace, they're able to do so. Everyone can borrow Little Women on their book or Pride and Prejudice or Treasure Island, whatever their fancy, and it stays on their app forever, unless they choose to return it.
All right, next question. Is there an advanced search or filter feature on the app that lets you filter by language? So no, not yet. This is on our wish list for advanced search build out. So because we're a small team, we're a nonprofit, we only can develop so many things at a time, but this is a very commonly requested feature. It's also on our feedback feature request, FeedBear. Let me pull it up here. So you can upvote that as something that we work on. Like I was talking about how we kind of rank the different priorities and then we determine our engineering work based on that. So yeah, if that's something that you feel is very important, which we think is very important too, Jill and I, but we need the votes too to bring it to our engineers to say the majority of people want this next. So I believe it is under advanced search. I'm just pulling it up here and I can put it in the chat. Yeah, we have 14 votes. So you can see language was one of the things people wanted. But I'll go ahead and I'll put that in this chat in case anybody wants to check it out. Or if you come out here, you can upvote, or sorry, you can also upvote from here if you click on this. All right. See here. Thank you. So Jill mentioned we've been asking for this and search by pub date and audience. All right. And then some nice thank yous. Yeah, you're welcome. We're glad this is helpful. Is there anything else we didn't cover or questions about Palace? Palace app, Palace collection manager. I'll show you here too while we're here in the dashboard. So this is where people that have been using Palace and the collection manager, if you click dashboard, this is what we kind of called the snapshot dashboard. But now we've added the link to view the usage for the new dashboard. And then this is where you find that request to report button. So when you click that, it'll say, okay, it's going to send you these things, run the report, and then it will email it to you in a few minutes. So that's how that works. And the CSV is still at the bottom. So you can still do, if you're doing this before and you like that, and that's fine. It's just more, sorting and filtering, things like that. But that's also available to you. Okay. Jill, anything else you wanted to mention here before we go?
No, just that we'd love to thank you for being here. If you ever have any feedback you want to provide us, or if you'd ever like to meet to chat through things, I'm always happy to meet with our partner libraries. I know Tara is as well if she has availability. That's what we're here for. I think one of the things that makes Palace a little bit different is that we do look at this as a community-driven project. So, your feedback and your input helps us become a stronger platform for everyone. So when we say we take this seriously, we refer to you as partners, we really do mean you are a partner in this project.
Absolutely. Thank you. And for everyone who registered, we'll send the recording that we put up on our YouTube and also the slides. But definitely feel free if you think of something later after we hang up that you wanted to ask, you can always email us or we can meet, like Jill said. All right. Yeah, and thank you, Josh. Thank you, Lauren. And they're both are offering if you need to talk to them as well. You can reach out to Josh, reach out to Lauren. I think everyone probably has your emails, but if not, we can put them on our email page here too to contact everybody. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll go ahead and I'll stop recording here. Have a nice day.